Alright, hey there, and before I get into my rant, because it's going to be one of those, such a rant that I had to say the word rant twice. I missed a couple of people, and I'm going to be missing people in the shout out thingies, but I want to get some more of the people in here that I may have forgotten to mention before, and that's Mr. Roz Video 1985, Simon Says Movies, both great YouTubers. Now the Creepy Monster Squad. I'm sure I mentioned you though, but just in case I didn't, gonna check that mark off and make sure that I get that out there. One more thing, got to give a quick shout out to Blu-ray Anonymous Nathan and Leroy Green for helping me get my typing rant on. It's awesome when you can debate heavily about things that you completely disagree on. It tends to be one of the more fun things in the movie community. If we all had the same opinion, it would be so boring and vanilla. But anyway, I was watching Wet Movie 1. Another great YouTuber there. Look, there's another shout out right there. And he was talking about Friday the 13th. I'm a big Friday the 13th fan. I grew up with Friday the 13th. You know, I saw the original Friday the 13th in the theater. And you know where I saw it afterwards? Not on VHS, not on Laserdisc. I saw it on CED. CED. You know what CED is? It's like a picture. It's like a Laserdisc type of thing. It's like there's this big plastic case. It's like huge. And there's a picture on one side. Like a poster-sized picture. Like, you know, like imagine if your Laserdisc was made out of plastic and the disc was kind of on the inside. It was kind of protected and stuff. Well, that's what a CED is. Yeah, I remember those. And so I remember watching Friday the 13th on CED alongside of movies like The Evictor and Omen 2 and Being Under the Blanket and stuff like that. And I just had such great fun times with those films. And now there's a new one coming out. There's a new one coming in 2015, I think. And he wanted to firm some details up, let some people know what's going on. And what they said is it's going to be found footage. Yeah, so your Friday the 13th movie is kind of going to be like this. So if you enjoy that, and I don't know, puking, let's go back to where this all started. Let's go back to the Blair Witch Project. Considered a classic now by many, to me it was a pain in the ass. I really didn't get into it. A lot of people really love this movie, understand it completely. Low budget, they did great marketing. As a guy that's into marketing, Blair Witch Project, the bomb when it came to marketing. As a movie, I guess it just didn't do it for me. Oh no, the first two times I saw it, I really didn't get why him standing in the corner was so alarmingly frightening. And once I realized why, I'm like, dude, it still doesn't scare me. Now, I did enjoy the Paranormal Activity movies, and I didn't really think I was going to. Well, I did enjoy Part 4. And Part 1 was kind of... Okay, I like the girls in the Paranormal Activity movies and certain scenes. But I can't really say those were like big thumbs up movies for me. I liked the one with the kids in them. The prequel thing, that was done pretty well. I thought the last one was pretty ridiculous and looked like an Xbox Connect commercial I almost saw throughout the film. Anyway, those are also found footage films, and now we're coming along with Friday the 13th as a found footage film. I can kind of see where they're going with it. I really don't like where they're going with it. I don't like the idea of it being found footage. It's cheap. And yes, Friday the 13th movies definitely were made on the cheap. Back in the day, that's how they made so much money. That's why people come in and got to start the next one. That's why we got up to 8 from Paramount. They couldn't lose. As long as they kept the formula steady, guy with hockey mask kills girls that are half naked and guys that are having sex or smoking weed, then you had a winner. And you just brought in different characters, recycled the plot a little bit, but then they decided to get ambitious. Then they decided to put in telekinetic people, and then they decided to have them go to Manhattan, Vancouver, for a few minutes. Mostly it was Jason on the Love Boat with kids. But And so then they give it to New Line. What does New Line do? New Line decides, what's a great idea for the Friday 13th franchise? Let's take out everything that's Friday the 13th. For their first film, what did they take out first? Well, they take out Jason. They take Jason out of the film. Which, I'm cool with, and if they're going to do it in the right way, like part 1 or part 5, Jason's out of it. He's in it, but he's out of it. But still, people getting killed, hot teenage girls, loving it at this point. But New Line, they actually had to go back in and shoot a sexy nude type sequence because you know what? It wasn't originally in it. So you remember that cool scene, the only cool scene in Jason Goes to Hell? That really only cool scene. And I'm not talking about looking around at the fan like stuff like the Necronomicon in the attic basement and stuff like that. But I'm talking about that one really, really cool scene where the couple are making love and bam, right up through, sliced in the middle. That is awesome. That wasn't originally in it. Yeah, then they decided to make Jason X. I've spoken Todd Farmer quite a few times on Facebook and stuff. Great guy. Heart was in the right place. Jason X is one of those cult movies for sci-fi fanatics, but as a Friday the 13th fan, it really doesn't do a lot for me. There are some decent scenes in it, and I do like that hologram scene. It's just, hilariousness. But overall, it didn't really do much to further the franchise. Let's face it was a placeholder because Jason versus Freddy was coming. Unfortunately, the guy that was bringing us Jason versus Freddy, Kane Hodder, well, he got kicked out of Jason versus Freddy, so it was Freddy versus the guy that played the diner chef in part 8 of Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah, look it up. It's actually, if you look at when he gets to Manhattan and goes into the diner, the guy behind the diner, the big guy, yeah, that's the guy that played Jason in Jason versus Freddy. And he plays him pretty much like, I don't know, Frankenstein, a mentally deficient Frankenstein character. And all of a sudden, although he's been, Jason can swim, not a good swimmer, but can swim, walks through water to kill people, goes underwater to fight Tommy in part 6, jumps up in part 4 to spear a girl in the boat. Suddenly he has a fear of water. He's got a serious fear of water, and Freddy decides to play on this. There's a scene, a cringeworthy scene in this film where he's going towards Freddy and there's water trickling down and he has to stop. That's all it took, all this time. I just had to run a tap. No. Didn't work. So that movie makes a lot of money because you know what? 2 characters that are really popular finally get it on in a film. Oh, that sounded wrong. Anyway. No. So what do we get next? What do we get? We get the remake. You know what? A lot of people didn't like the remake, but I liked it because it got back to what exactly Friday the 13th was. Killing teenagers and nude sequences. One very huge nude sequence. How was that a problem in a Friday the 13th film? A great guy as Jason. Derek Mears really killed it. But some people couldn't get behind he's got like a place under there, and he kidnapped one girl because she looked like his mom. Well, he's got mommy issues. He's always had mommy issues. That's kind of Jason's thing. And another problem was he was defending his weed. What the hell? I don't know where that one came from, but I see that online a lot. I guess because there's a reference to weed being grown in Friday the 13th remake, that, the MacGuffin thing. Some people just really took that to heart and thought that Jason was obviously killing those people because they were out to get weed. And not because, I don't know, Jason's been killing teenagers since 1980. Yeah, so he's proficient by now. But, this is a remake, reboot. People read stuff into it, what they want to read into it. That happens. What do you do? So I didn't really like the ending to the movie. Didn't think they should have killed off Jason definitively in that film because I'm not really big on the zombie Jason. A lot of people really love the zombie Jason. I'm more the more of the real Jason killer type of thing. I kind of like that. It's kind of cool. I like the first 4 films. I like the 5th film because you know what? Jason's not in it. Tommy's in it. Tommy's going wacko crazy, but Tommy doesn't get the chance to go wacko crazy because, well, peeps didn't like the fact that there was no Friday the 13th Jason in the fifth one, and they got kind of upset. So, brought him back. Killed the franchise. Great movie. A lot of comedy. Awesome set pieces. Cool kills. Excellent Alice Cooper soundtrack, Constrictor. But it really killed the franchise. So now here we are waiting for another one. And what comes out? Well, originally it was supposed to be a 3D film. That was supposed to be a 3D film, and we're supposed to get a Friday the 13th 3D again. But, that was just a rumor, kind of like the Halloween 3D rumor that came around. And for a while, I know that Todd was working on a script for Halloween 3D, and unfortunately would have went with the Rob Zombie type of franchise aspect of it. And you don't really want to get into my Rob Zombie thoughts in this film, video, whatever. But so now we got a new one, and it's found footage. They're going to the well again. They're trying something uniquely different, when all they have to do is make another movie about a guy in a hockey mask killing teenagers at a camp that are drinking, smoking weed, and having promiscuous sex. That's what Friday the 13th is. At the end of the day, you don't want it mixed up. You don't want to change the franchise too much. It's a franchise, and it's got this way for a reason. James Bond made so many movies. Why? Because, honestly, there's a formula. The formula works. When you mess with the formula, Quantum of Solace, then it doesn't work so well. That's what's happening here. Don't mess with our formula. It's what we want to see. Jason killing people. And if not Jason, his mom. And if not his mom, copycat. No, let's not go there, because we all know what's going to happen once we go to the Roy territory again. Somebody's going to get majorly upset. I was just hoping to see Tommy Jarvis in a movie. That would have been my biggie. And I don't want to see Tommy Jarvis in a found footage movie. What do you do? Being a horror fan in the 2000s, not always the greatest thing, is it? But I'm sure some people are going to be overjoyed that this is going to be done found footage. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they blow my mind. Want to go to the theater, because you know what? I'm that type of sucker that I'm going to be in the theater seeing that movie when it opens up, because I am a Friday the 13th fan, and I have seen every Friday the 13th film in the theater. That's my rant, and right now my cup is empty, my caffeine high is running out, and it is time for tea.